Hey girls, welcome back to another Pilates abs series. We have 15 minutes today, but all you need is your mat and your body. So whenever you're ready, roll it out and let's begin. Let's start off class today making sure we're nice and loose. So we'll extend that left leg out to the side, keep the right knee folded in. Let's stretch up with the right fingertips and over the leg, making sure that right side body gets nice and long. On our exhale, we're gonna close the shoulders down to the mat. Inhale, open the shoulders to the front and circle the arm down. Let's switch over and extend that right leg long, left fingertip stretch up and over this time. We're gonna exhale, close the shoulders down, inhale, open, and circle the arm back through center. Next, let's work on those inner thighs, so both feet will fold together into butterfly. We start off lifting the chest to the ceiling, and then we hinge from the hips forward, folding the chest all the way over the feet, and then we'll inhale to sit back up. Let's make our way into tabletop. Last little stretches we're going to do before we start warming up our core will be cat-cow. So on our inhale, we let the belly fall and look up at the ceiling, and then with our exhale, press the mat away from you as you pull the navel back to the spine. Start to tuck those toes and exhale, press the hips up to the ceiling and the heels down to the ground to come into downward dog. We bend the knees and extend here, stretching out the backs of the legs and the metatarsals in the feet before we start to hinge our weight forward into a tabletop, hovering those knees about 1 inch above the mat. Hold the knees lifted here for one full exhale, and then inhale, send the hips back to downward dog. Again, we exhale, draw forward and hold for just that breath before we send it right back up. We're going to keep going with this motion, focusing every single time we exhale forward on pulling the belly button back to the spine so that our lower abs get nice and warm for us. This time, let's hang out in our tabletop hover for a couple of breaths, and then with our next exhale, we're going to start to tuck the pelvic floor, rounding through the lower back and drawing that navel even farther towards the spine. I want you to imagine all the organs behind your belly button drawing up underneath our rib cage as we tuck the hips. And each time we inhale, we're actually lengthening the spine through the tailbone. Nice job. Send it back to downward dog for a quick break, and then we'll lift those heels and lower again into tabletop, holding the knees in hover 1 inch above the mat. Again, we're going to come into that tabletop hover and hold, this time dropping the hips to the right and then to the center and then left and center. As we drop the hip over to the side, we're just lightly tapping that knee down on the mat before we center out those hips. And the whole time we're focusing on keeping that navel drawn back so we're not going to pouch through our belly. And finally, we can rest those knees on the mat and release the toes. Let's take that tiny little tuck of the pelvic floor before we extend the right leg behind us. Heel comes up to the ceiling on an exhale and draws across the body to tap left elbow, right elbow. Let's inhale to extend. Try to keep the hips from rocking over to the left side of your mat as your right leg moves across your body. We want to make sure that that hip stays stacked on top of our left knee. From here, we'll tuck the left toes and hover the left knee as we pull and pulse that knee in towards the chest. Let's jump straight into the other side. So we take that tiny tuck of the pelvic floor, extend the left leg, lift the heel up, and then draw across the body to tap right elbow, left elbow, inhale to extend. Now tuck those right toes underneath, pull the left knee into the chest, and let's pulse up and up with a nice and hollowed out belly. We'll rest down from there, press the hips back to a child's pose, take a quick second to roll the wrists out. And then we'll press back up to tabletop as we open up the left leg and the left arm to stretch out that side body. From this position, slide that right arm out and we'll make our way into a modified side plank with the right knee down on the mat. We drop the hips and the arm towards the left leg, and then we lift up and take that stretch back over to the right. If you're ready to level up this exercise, step that left foot forward so that it's straight and in line with the right toes before we repeat the motion, inhaling to drop the hips and exhale to lift. We just have a couple more. And gently rest the hips down onto the mat. From there, our right hand is going to go up and over as we stretch through the right side of the body, extending that right leg. And let's separate that knee and palm on the left side into a modified side plank before we lower and lift the hips here. Again, if you're ready to take this exercise a little bit further, step that right leg out long, and we'll inhale to drop the hips, exhale to lift. You're almost there. And rest the hips down on the mat. Finally, we get to lay down for some core, so let's sit our glutes into the center of the mat with our feet right in front of our hips. Hands come behind the thighs and we roll the shoulders to sit up really tall. Arms are going to come forward, and on our exhale, we'll C-curve back, and inhale, the chest lifts up to the ceiling. As we lean back, the belly button draws towards the spine. Inhale, lift the chest. Let's hold our C-curve on this next one, making sure that our shoulders aren't collapsed over our chest. We lift the right knee up, drawing the belly and the thigh together, and then lower. Repeat on the left side. So let's use our exhale to draw the knee in, and let our inhale drop that leg slowly down to the mat. Great job, guys. Now let's level it up just a little bit. Both knees are going to squeeze together as we exhale and pull the thighs into the belly. Inhale, slowly release down to the mat. Let's do one more, and then slowly roll vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down to the mat. Let's start hugging the knees into the chest, and you can scoot forward on the mat if you need some more space. We'll rock those hips side to side. And then with our exhale, we're going to press knees into palms and curl up into what I call our Pilates bug. So our sacrum stays rooted to the mat and our bra line rises above as we crunch, using our knees in palms to help us just a little bit. On this last one, we hold here at the top, extend right arm and right leg on an inhale and switch on an exhale. Inhale, draw both in, and exhale, extend both arms and legs out long. So inhale, stretch, exhale, switch. Inhale, draw both knees in, and exhale, extend both legs. Keep going, guys. We'll do one more of these. And lower the head down. Take a quick little breather here. We're about to level these up and make them just a little bit harder to finish up our back series. So let's exhale, curl back into Pilates bug. Inhale, extend right arm and right left long. We'll exhale to reach up, tapping those toes with a flexed foot. And then inhale, fold the knee back in. So we do this entire exercise holding our crunch. You can do it. Let's go. And jump over to the left side. Inhale, extend, exhale, tap, inhale, lower, exhale, pull the knee in. Your abs should be on fire by this point, but try to hold that crunch up to the bra line if you can. We're almost there. Let's squeeze one more in. and rest the head down. Catch your breath here and really rock those knees side to side, massaging the hips on the mat before we curl back up into Pilates bug for the last piece of that variation. We inhale, extend both legs out long. Exhale, tap both fingertips up for the toes. Inhale, lower the arms and legs. Exhale, curl into bug. Keep the chin pulled down to the chest and the shoulders pressed away from the ears so it's all in those ab muscles. And finally, rest the head down. Nod the chin side to side to loosen up any tension in the neck. We're almost through your class today. Let's massage the spine down onto the mat by hugging the knees in and then releasing the hips down to the mat. From there, I want you to reach the arms overhead and take those knees into tabletop if you're a beginner. If you're more intermediate, go ahead and extend those toes all the way up to the ceiling, turning out from the hips so the heels are together and toes apart. We'll take a crunch and then Pilates 100s, pumping the arms to inhale for 5 and exhale for 5, holding our crunch the entire time. We're halfway there, guys. You're doing great. Last inhale and exhale. Let's roll down and hug those knees in. This time we'll exhale to rock back and inhale, roll all the way up to your glutes, and then forward we'll cross into tabletop. From here, we have one last finisher exercise that we'll do to get our heart rate up before we stretch for the end of class. So step your feet out into a plank about hip distance apart and then take that right heel up before exhaling to draw it into a 3-legged plank, pulling the belly button to the spine. Plant the foot down, let's lift the chest into a lunge, drop the palms, and then extend that leg back into our 3-legged plank. Keep going with just that right leg. We'll do one more on this side. And now let's drop that right foot back into plank and this time lift the left leg up. You guys are so close. This is your last one. From here, rest the left leg down. We'll drop to the knees and take a modified chaturanga all the way to our belly. Let's press through the palms into upward facing dog. Taking a second to stretch through our abs, chin up to the ceiling, and then we'll slowly lower the chest and press it back to a child's pose. Spread the knees a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart and really let the chest sink heavy into the mat. We'll take our hands to prayer and lift and lower the arms, stretching out the shoulders and the triceps. Let's release the palms down and walk those palms back up so we're sitting tall on our heels. From there, we'll cross our ankles behind us so we can sit back onto our glutes in crisscross. Let's take some deep breaths here, starting with a twist over to the left side of our mat and looking back at our left fingertips. Inhale through center and we'll exhale to twist towards the right. Finally, we'll twist back towards center and let's take our right hand to the front of our rib cage, our left hand to the back, and we'll take some deep breaths into all 4 corners of our rib cage and our diaphragm. Inhaling slowly through the nose and exhaling everything out through the mouth. We'll switch hands and take one more breath just like this. Bring both arms forward now. Let's inhale, reach through the fingertips up to the ceiling, and with that exhale, draw the arms down into prayer. Thank you guys so much for working your core with me today. If you really liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment for what exercises you'd like to see next. And hopefully I'll see you in a video very soon.